So that's actually where we are.
That's where we are.
Right. So here's what I want you guys to do. Okay. What you're going to need to do is you're going to need a whiteboard on your table. So you need to like move some things. I want you to put it on your table so everybody has got a marker and everybody can write on the whiteboard. Okay. Do that real quick. Actually, while we're doing that, if this table here, can you guys move to this station here?
Binders, should we just like
Which
walk
table?
away for a while?
Yeah. Yeah. We won't need them quite yet. Yeah.
If you drop
Yeah, did you guys move
Can't make any super promises.
Whoa, I thought I was
Table.
going to, but I
Oh my God. And we're gonna get you guys to move up here. We're gonna need to see. We're gonna do a little demonstration. Like move the whole kit through. So sorry, it's just a little logistical transformation.
We'll say,
You said everybody can mark.
I just did.
we can erase these experiments, right?
Yes. As long as you got a nice picture of it, you can let it go. Oh my God, did you hear that bird?
must be nesting in here.
That bird is always.
I put it away. Sorry. Down here. That sounds like. Elbow grease.
All right, guys, ready? Looks like we're good. So here's what I want you to do. Here's what I want you to do on your board. Okay. First of all, okay. The context for this, okay. The context for this is student mode. Okay. The context for this is student mode. It will not be far from your authentic whatever mode. All right. You with me on this? All right.
Authentic whatever.
So the authentic whatever mode is this. Like, hand up if you are a professional science teacher. Okay? So that means that you had to have some science classes in your life at some time, yes? And then probably in this science class, you have studied energy. And you have a sense of what this is, right? But over the next couple of minutes, we may upend this for you, all right? So whatever your current context is, like I'm a workshop participant, I'm a professional science teacher, right? That's your whatever context, okay? But student mode, we're gonna go with our student mode for now. Are you guys ready? Okay, so here we go. So as a student, you probably had lots of science classes in your life, right? Because in a lot of places they teach science from early on, you know, through elementary, middle school, early high school. Have you heard of energy? Hand up if you've heard energy. And then hand up if you studied energy in any of your science classes. Okay? And I know you're a science teacher, so it should be all of you, right? You with me on that? So I'm under the impression you have a good sense of this already. So if you would, just take a moment, and I want you to write down definition of energy right on your board. Okay? Just write it down right on your board. Okay? Write it down. What's that? Each person writes their own. Because I'm going to go around and I'm going to poll you. Okay? Okay? I'm going to come around, I'm going to poll you. If you can't come up with a good student definition, think about maybe what one of your teachers might say about it and go from there. Now, depending on your experiences, you may have an inclination to include work in your energy definition. I'm going to say if you would like to do that, please feel free, but then you must include a definition of work underneath that. Okay? And now, don't give me this crap, like, I will tell you right now, if you wrote the ability to do work, that makes no sense at all. Alright? Because then you say, well, what is work? Oh, work is the transfer of energy. You can't say that work is energy and energy is work and not say what either of them actually is. You with me on that? Okay? Alright, let's see how you guys are doing. It's the thing. Okay? Oh, it's the stuff. I'm glad we're getting crystal clear now.
I use it with
Okay.
stuff all the time. There, that's enough, you can't do it. It's the
Material?
It's trick in the book.
It's the
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Wow. Yours is intense, mine is pretty plain old. Yeah.
What is that?
One second, it's still giving
But what is the stuff? Can a non-thing have an ability? I don't know. And what is energy?
Oh, I know, that's what.
What happened? I like Les's editing as I'm talking. Les like, and I'm gonna erase one word, and I'm gonna erase another word, and So energy, it is something. It's like it can do something. Okay, these are great, by the way. These are fantastic. I couldn't be more excited right now. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go through them all. Okay, you ready? Okay, we're gonna start back here. Chris, give it to me.
Something that causes movement.
Something that causes movement. What is the something?
I don't know, but everything in that lab moved. That I can think of.
Okay, so it's
So whether it was your hand or batteries in the buggy but there was always movement.
so something that causes movement. Okay, Les.
Energy to produce a change in a system.
So what you had the ability
The ability to
to what? Cause what?
produce a change in a system.
You use the A word.
Honors physical science.
Now, I just want to ask some questions about these, and I don't want you to feel like these questions are a judgment. I'm actually trying to be intentional in my language so that we can refine your language. So when you say cause change in a system, what do you mean by a system?
The system is just,
That's fine, we don't need a direct answer. Like, if this is one of these terms, right? It's one of these terms that we hear, and like, oh, we're talking about energy, let's talk about systems too. But if we don't have, like, my thing is, I don't want to introduce a term into our class that we don't have a shared framework for, right? So if I say, oh, it's the system, then you're like, oh shit, system must be something important, right? But if you don't know what that is, then, so that's why I asked.
a set of objects.
Okay, a system is a set of objects. Okay, that's fine, I don't know, we may get to it later, I don't know. Okay, so Les says set of objects. Okay, now, objects. One of the things about this is, like, it's the ability. And I want to know, like, the ability of what? Like, I have the ability to run, not well, okay? But I have the ability to run places. So I have an ability. But what is the ability of what? Like, what is the object of this verb? You see my question? Is it obvious here? Okay, that's fine, let's keep up. Okay, Scott?
Something that can cause change in something.
Something.
Well, I did have the ability to do work. I memorized that definition.
Okay, something can cause change in something. Just real quick, am I good in this?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you actually need to start over.
one of my friends who teaches in a little town east of Flint called Caro is the name of the town. Big Rob Peters, anybody know Big Rob? We call him Big Rob because he's enormous. You ever get, I mean, he's a big dude.
Makes me look small.
Yes, like, you think Tyler's big when he stands next to me and he stands next to Rob, you're like, wow, he's a big man. But he is an excellent, excellent teacher and facilitator and a friend of mine. And he's like, would you just record yourself doing the energy thing? And I was like, sure, no problem. So when we talk about even like the ability to do work, again, I have the same problem because I want to know the ability of what. And like you're just throw work out there as if this was something like, what is work? Right? Work is how you make the money, but I don't think that's the work context that you guys are going for, right? But how often does this happen? The students are like, I need a definition before I even like start going down a road. But does that really help? Right? I'm not sure it does. I'm not sure it does. Okay. Ann.
Energy is something that an object has. It can be lots of different types.
Something an object has. Okay. So that's interesting because when I think of like has, I want to like have something, right? How do I know if I have something? Usually it's something tangible, right?
That's why I have the second part, because it can be a lot of different types.
So that's interesting because I think that there are properties of energy and then we're trying to get to a definition. And we may actually talk about some properties later. So the fact that it can look different at different times, that might be a property of, but I'm not sure that's a definition. Is that cool? Aaron, where are you, buddy?
Something you need to do stuff.
I like that.
Could be lots of stuff.
Perfect. Sharon.
What causes you to move?
Energy, well that's not a definition.
I put kinetic and potential too.
So energy is what causes you to move. Okay, I like it. Very nice. Ryan?
The cause of making things blank. Like literally a blank line.
Oh, blank.
Blank. Cause of making things blank.
Okay. So is energy the like?
No,
Is it a cause of something?
a lot of other causes.
Stop picking on me! It's all right. Everybody's getting equally. It's fine. It's fine. Mary.
I said the stuff that moves matter, and then I put makes things work.
Makes things work.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's an everyday context of work, not like this ability to do work context.
Yes, doing stuff.
Okay, where are we? Let's go right here. Lindsay.
The thing that causes / allows something to change or move something or change the particles in something.
Okay, so you have causes change, and you have causes movement, right?
Yeah,
And you have some sort of.
movement or change the particles.
Okay. All right, Scott.
The thing that causes a change in something.
Okay, so you guys are keying in the change up here. Okay, I like that.
Energy is the stuff to change or do something.
I feel like we're getting right. Okay, that's fine. Okay. This is not majority rules, by the way. Like, oh, 5 votes, you're the winner, right? It doesn't. Nate.
I put particles in motion.
Particles in motion. That's gonna be it. Because you said particles too, right?
I forgot stuff and things.
Stuff and things.
Okay, that's fine. Right?
Mine's already up there sort of, so then I attempted to try to do a better job. I put the currency of change.
The currency of change. Are you throwing out some metaphors now?
Yeah, sort of like you gotta spend it.
That's fine. All right, that sounds good.
Team movement.
Oh, movement. Okay,
I have power that drives something else that can be measured.
what'd you say? It's what?
Power.
Power?
Power that drives something else.
What is power?
It can be measured.
Oh.
The electric companies send it to my house from my phone.
You know,
What is power? It's expensive.
because you mentioned it, I actually may disagree with you on one thing. Okay, I actually may disagree with you on one thing. When we talk about measurement, right? When we talk about measurement, I don't actually know that we can measure the things that we think we're measuring. Like, how many actual things can we measure in the classroom? Like, give me one you know you can measure for sure. Okay? Can you measure the length of something? Absolutely, right? We have a meter stick, we have a lengthometer, I can measure the length, nailed it. Okay? Give me something else you know you can measure for sure.
Mass.
So mass is a tricky one, but we're going to say yes on mass. Okay, we're going to say yes on mass. Oftentimes we either have to measure it relative to another mass, like our triple beam balance, or maybe we can measure